and welcome to another edition of OnSide SA, where Budge and I will take you through what's happening in the football world. It's coming down to the crux right at the end now, Budge, but we've had some interesting news coming out of the championships. They've got the playoffs.
Yeah, Paul, I had a bet just to watch one of them, and it was such a bad game, it was frightening. The first leg, no one really wants to lose, Paul. Unless you get an early goal, it tends to be a stalemate, and both games ended 0-0. They shouldn't have, because there were chances both sides, but...
Thursday, Friday, so it's tonight, Paul. Tomorrow night?
Tonight is, well, the first game up is, we'll get Stevie's thoughts on that. I know he watched them, but Leeds-Norwich, it needed a goal, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, but the longer it went on, it stayed tight, and of the two, I fancy, don't want to lose. Steve, any chance Norwich can cause an upset?
Well, look, I mean, they can, but it was, you know, as you said, as the game wore on, it was obvious nobody was going to prepare to take chances and end up losing. I was a bit disappointed in a way. You know, they both scored a lot of goals this season.
Yeah.
So, you know, look, it's a one-off game. Leeds at home, we know, are strong, although obviously they came unstuck in that game near the end against Blackburn, which pretty much cost them an automatic promotion place. I think they'll start as favourites. Obviously, a very vociferous crowd at Ellen Road. You know, Norwich. You know, I think we'll give them a game, but I think just feel that Leeds would be a little bit too strong for them tonight. Yeah,
I've got to agree with you. Just hope we get an early goal, then at least it opens up. But you know, you never know. Norwich will sit tight. Yeah, we need a Norwich goal, then it'll be chaos. But Steve, the other game, I thought West Brom were the better team against Southampton. I know Southampton did get that one opportunity with the deflection that the keeper made a good save, but I don't think this is all over by the shouting for Southampton. Do you?
No, not at all. Although again, home advantage I think will count for something. They've been fairly strong, certainly in the sort of run up. Southampton. I've got a feeling that they will. You know, they've got enough players who have been in the Premiership. I think they've got players that know how to play in the big games. I'd be surprised if they don't win it. I think it will be close. Yeah. I think West Brom will give it a go. But I just fancy Southampton, and I think that's the final that a lot of people were expecting when they saw who was left in the playoffs at Leeds Southampton.
Yeah, if there has to be an upset of the two, which one is it?
I would have thought potentially West Brom. Yeah. I just thought they've got a little bit more about them than Norwich. But look, you know, anything can happen. It's on the day. Yeah. You know, I think I suppose the downside for Leeds is, you know, huge pressure on them to win. Yeah. The fans demand it. You know, they've got. I think I read that obviously if they don't go up, then you know with the wages and everything, they might have to sort of let a few players go. Yeah. So you know, I think there's a lot of there's probably more pressure on them than the others. I think because you know, financially, I think you know they can't afford to stay down in the Championship.
Yeah, strange. Two of the four teams went down. Favourite a cup. Leeds went down last year and so did Southampton. So, interesting. Steve, on to the Premiership midweek. And Paul, I'll get your take. I thought Spurs a little bit unlucky.
A little bit unlucky for it to be 2-0. Obviously, I watched every minute of the game, as most people did. It was a very good game. We played very well. They never created chances. They were tied up. We won a lot of balls in the middle. We got players forward. And the key for me was that a player played for 20 minutes and got man of the match. Their goalkeeper. Yeah. You know, he made 2 saves from Kulusevski and 1 from Song, which should have scored. Classic error at the back, letting De Bruyne overlap. Yeah. Don't let De Bruyne overlap. They never let him overlap once until then. They played well. It showed we've got a very strong backs now. We're tight at the backs. And I think we've got one. You could see the frustrations on their keeper going off, on our midfielder kicking the chairs.
A man's game, Paul.
Yeah, but it was. I thought a lot of good came out of it in the sense that we competed with one of the best sides in the world. It's swung it now in Man City's favour. I find it very difficult for them to leave. But as a game, I thoroughly enjoyed the contest. The penalty was just one of those things, a hoof-up field, one-on-one with a tricky player. He dived in. Yeah, but a good game and...
something to build on for next season with a few additions.
Yeah, you know, first time we've seen real passion out of Big Ange. You know, they got one of the fans evicted. Drop behind him, telling him, he's not having a go for Man City because he's anti-odds. You know, you cannot. And screaming at I read the article. They evicted him eventually. Said, "Hey, you're out of here."
In jail. He's an idiot.
Yeah, what an idiot. They evicted him. That was when he was really saying, "I've had enough."
Yeah.
So I read the report on that, and afterwards you could see he was fuming that he found some of his coaching staff, a small minority of his coaching staff, were making a joke about, we've got to make sure Arsenal don't go through. And he really threw his toys at his own staff, everything. So it was a big culmination of everything. He says, I play football to win. I don't care who I'm benefiting
100%.
from. 100%. He said, I never ever want to hear that. But they've got to realise that I don't care what the culture is between the two clubs. We play every game to win.
And you sort of the Champions League place on the line.
Yeah.
What did you think, Steve?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a very good game. I thought that Spurs started really well. You know, City weren't at their fluent best, there's no question. But once they scored that first goal, which was a pretty simple goal, you sort of felt they were in control. Except, you know, they had those couple of chances. Kulusevski had a chance, but that Son chance, you know, when you looked at it in the replay, he didn't get a clean hit. And you just wonder what was going through his mind.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was huge pressure on him at that point, you know, which I'm not sure a draw was enough for Tottenham anyway.
No, we had to win.
You know, but when that didn't go, and then obviously City go and get a penalty,
you know,
and
Steve,
it was game over. You know, look, they were celebrating as if they won the league.
Yeah.
They probably will win the league, but it's not over.
Steve, it's the first time they've scored there in the league, Steve. So what you must remember is it's been torrid for us.
Yeah.
We lost 5 of our last 6. We were really cantering for top 4. We lost 5 of our last 6, put a lot of pressure on us, showed some people. Song, hasn't it, the last 10 games he wasn't excellent. He struggled. The people around him have struggled. We need a striker. Richarlison's not sound. We need a striker. And that's the first time he's thrown a youngster on. He's thrown Dane Scarlett on. But this guy...
16. You know, that was a huge game to do it. But, you know, good for him. Look, it's, you know, at the end of the day, look, Arsenal fans can't turn around and say that Tottenham didn't try, because they certainly did.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the result I think people expected. But as I say, City weren't at their fluent best. You know, Tottenham really sort of pushed them hard, and it does sets it up for the last day now.
Yeah,
you know, just getting back to what got him going, one of his staff, whoever was backroom staff, came to him and said, listen, we have to play our B team or our youngsters. And
he wouldn't have a job if that was me.
I think the guy's going to get the bullet. I think
what about the 70,000 fans that paid 70, 80 pound a ticket? What must they do? No, if it's me, he's gone.
Some of the fans were celebrating.
Yeah, well,
they're not fans.
They're not fans.
They're yobs.
You know, they are. They're like Man United fans, happy that Liverpool haven't won the league.
Yes,
I said that to him when I was there. Yeah. I said, that's the highlight of our season, drawing twice in the league and knocking them out the cup. We are rubbish. But anyway.
You got an impassioned plea from your boss last
he's
night.
Garbage, Paul. Talking about that, Steve, you had the Man United Newcastle game on. What do you think?
Yeah, 15 minutes or so, it was all Newcastle. But as United sort of got into the game, the second half I thought was excellent. You know, both teams wanted to win. And you know, United put in a shift, probably one of their best performances. So look, it might not be enough though to get them into that that 6th place, for example, because you know Chelsea have got the whip hand now. Newcastle obviously have got you know, maybe a slightly easier game potentially with the goal difference. So it does set it up. You know, obviously. The relegation has all been sorted. You've got the 2 big games at the top, and it's good that you've got 3 more games for European place being played.
Yeah. No, I'm glad Ahmad. I like him. Came from Atalanta. There's that Ahmad Diallo. He can play. There's no doubt about that. The 1-2 he played and missed it in the first half. For me, I hope United don't get in Europe. We've got to clean the ship. There's too much trouble in behind. There's too many guys on big money. It's time. We've got a lot of good youngsters. We've got to rebuild and get on with it. Great result, but you know, still dodgy at the back and something. That's the game I watched till it got 2-0. Chelsea, that was a good game, Steve. I went in the bookings. It tackles. Reece James came on 85th minute, got sent off 80. He was a little bit unlucky because the guy did catch him, but still you can't do what he did. But Chelsea are good going forward.
Very good. You've got to play that Farmer.
He got lucky with a header because he scooped it, went over. But they're exciting to watch, and if they can get it,
27 times.
a whole lot of penalties, but still, Paul, they're good to watch. Chelsea deserved win, and Brighton.
They won their last 6.
That De Zerbi mantelpiece going anywhere, that's over. But really impressed with Chelsea. And
all comes down to this weekend.
Yep. Anyway, Steve, before we crack on with the odds, the VAR debate's on. You know, I was listening to Efan Okoku last night on the Brighton game. I know you never had it. The fullback made a great tackle to kick it out, and the ref gave a penalty.
Yes.
You could not
turned over.
And that's when they obviously overturned it.
The guys who believe in VAR, sorry to interrupt you, Budge, it strengthens their case.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't have VAR, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
And that would have caused riots.
Now, the league is saying that last year, before VAR, they got 82% of the decision rights.
Yeah.
This year, it's 96th. For me, it should be 100. There is no excuse not to get it right.
But I hear you, but just to debate this point, I'm a fan of VAR because I want it's a situation with me. Don't imprison an innocent man. Rather let 5 guilties go off. And you got a situation where that one in question yesterday, if they'd allowed that penalty, that was madness. You can see he gets his boot to the ball. There are those decisions. Which ones are they against? The Liverpool Spurs was a classic mistake by 2 people. He misheard what the guy said, in the studio. That one was a goal for Liverpool. He was onside against Spurs. But are there that many cases?
Well, I've seen some classics,
And who's to blame, Budge?
Well, I think it's the VAR officials. You can't take 5 minutes for an offside.
Yes.
I was in the tote when I was in Chorley, and Wolves got knocked out the cup. Who stuck them at Coventry? It took 5 minutes. It was determining whether it was a handball. They never did the offside first, and the guy was offside. And I'm saying, they're going to semi-automate it or whatever they're going to do, but it's taking too long.
It's taking too long. I agree with that, but I don't think even Steve, I think, will agree with that.
I don't think it will get over to. They need 14.
No, they won't get 14.
No, they won't get 14.
And basically, all of Europe use it. It's used in European competitions, in the World Cup, in Europe. There's no way we're going to be the outlier and scrap it, and everybody else has it. Because then we're going backwards. But you're right. They've got to find a way to speed things up. On the basis that it is a big stat. 96% accurate compared to 82%. That alone is enough, I think, for them to keep it. But you can't please everybody. There's going to be some boo-boos, but hopefully they can find a way to make it more efficient, quicker. Maybe keep the crowd involved somehow. But I can't. I just would be really amazed if they vote against it.
You know what gets me, Steve, about VAR and Budge, is when you get a situation and a ball's played forward and the ref or the linesman or the assistant allows play on and basically it's off.
He's way off,
they play on, the boom, 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 scramble, blah, 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 they get a corner. The team who were offside get a corner. They don't go back. No. They give the corner. Let's just say, hey, we've looked at it, it was offside.
It's only if there's a goal. But, and that's frustrating because when someone is blatantly offside, the linesman should put his flag up and stop play because it wastes time. We've had 1 or 2 cases where someone goes on and gets injured where they didn't need to. So I think that needs to be looked at.
Good point.
Now, there's plenty to be done, but anyway, what can we do? Anyway, to be done, and it's the last week, Steve, can you believe it? Final week of the...
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, they're all on the same time.
Yeah, I know that. 5, that's fantastic. I got racing.
There we go. Paul, you'll be home by 5. Anyway, we'll get the betting up now. And Steve, Arsenal...
I've got every game on my TV.
You have?
You'd expect Arsenal, it's slightly out of their hands. They've got to win. I think they will. I think Everton will, are not an easy team to break down. Obviously, they had that big defeat at Chelsea, but otherwise made themselves hard to beat in recent weeks. I think Arsenal will win. They'll score a few goals, but all eyes will be on what City are doing.
Question, can Everton score?
They can do. They can do. I have a feeling it's going to be something like 2 or 3-0. But Everton are capable. I think Arsenal know they've just got to go for it. Nothing other than a win would be enough anyway. So I think that Arsenal will go for it. And if they score the first goal, I think they'll win comfortably. But then they're just going to be waiting on hearing what's going on at the Etihad.
Now that's the problem for me having a bet in this particular game, because if Man City go 1-0 down, you know Arsenal are going to be over the top. But if Man City are 2-0 up early, the Emirates will be like quiet, and the players will know what the score is.
They've had a good year.
I think Everton will score, so Arsenal to win. Both teams to score is my suggestion on that particular game.
Do you know when Spurs scored against Arsenal? Remember, we were 3-0 down. We came back 3-2 or whatever it was. When we scored, there was the first away game in 10 hours that they conceded a goal. They got a good defence.
No, outstanding.
I know they're at home, but 10 hours.
Well, you saw they're very tight, but this game they're going to have a go. And one thing about Everton, on the counter-attack, Tarkowski and those boys at the back, they can do damage. Steve, Brentford, Newcastle. I know United fell. I was disappointed in Newcastle last night. Only really what's the second half, but defensively they are woeful.
Yeah, I mean, going forward they're strong and they got a lot of pace, and they probably, they had a lot of chances. But as you say, at the back, look, Brentford are going to not had a great season by their own standards. I think they're going to want to try and finish on a high, and I think they're capable of holding Newcastle. So I don't think that's going to help Newcastle's bid to finish in sort of 6th or even 7th. So I think I can see this one being a bit of a stalemate. Goals, I think there will be goals in it, but I think could cancel each other out.
Yeah, I think it's got 2-2 written all over, if you ask me. 27-10 to draw. But the only thing is, Newcastle have got to go for it. So, tight little ground. Brentford unbeaten in the last 5 at home, so a tough game. Brighton, Man United. I said I watched Brighton until it was 2-0.
Well,
this is a tough game for United.
Based on yesterday, you think that United have got a good chance. I think those odds, is quite a good sort of value bet to back them if they play, with the sort of passion as they did in the second half yesterday.
Those kids.
Just
I
at
think
the back and
Brighton are got to be a knee jerk.
They play one way.
Yeah, but they haven't put it together lately.
No, they just haven't scored up front. They've been woeful. But I don't trust Man United. Both teams to score the certainty. It's 1-3. Over 3.5 goals is 8-10. So anything's possible in that game. But I wouldn't be having a bet. But 22-10 United or 21 does look attractive. Burnley, Notts Forest, Steve.
I mean, obviously, this at one time of the week, this could be a dividing game, but not now. And I think that Forest sort of can relax. They're safe, but I think they'll go there and I think they'll get a result. Burnley will try, but they've just been so poor at home. And I think Forest will close the season out. I'd be surprised if they don't win. I mean, Burnley could hold them, but for me, I think there'll be goals, but I fancy Forest to win.
Yeah, they've got us at a 12-goal swing. Nottingham Forest have got to lose, and Luton has got to win a 12 goal. That's not happening. But likewise, Steve, the goals in every game, and you can't believe the prices. But I like Burnley to score a couple of goals here, 12-10. Chelsea, Bournemouth, Steve. I think this is going to be a cracker. How do you see it going now?
I think it'll be a good game. Bournemouth had a good season, but I think Chelsea will want to sort of close up if they can that 6th place. And I think at home, I think they'll be too strong. They're scoring a lot of goals now. They've got their home record has been very good in recent months, and I think they'll be too strong.
Yeah, 9 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat at home. Ironically, it was Wolves that rolled them. So should be a good game. Cole Palmer, what a player. Anyway, on to our second page. Sorry.
I say Cole Palmer has a good. You think that his name is pretty much inked in for a Euro place.
Certainly.
He's done so well.
Both feet. Most of these guys have only got 1 foot. He's got both feet. He can play. Yeah, he's. I'd start him before Saka, but everyone says I'm out of my head. But anyway, I think he's a top player. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. Steve.
Yeah, I mean, look, Villa have done it now. They don't need anything. They might come very relaxed, but I think they've probably had a really good night celebrating. And I think that they know they've got 4th place. I think, Palace, second most informed, third most informed team in the league. 5 wins and a draw, scoring goals. I think that they'll look to finish on a high. And I think if Villa still needed something, it would be a different game. But I think Palace could relax and score the goals, and I think they'll win.
Yeah, Steve, I'm looking the other way. When you finish 4th, the pressure's off. This Villa team can play. They gave Liverpool they've given everybody a hard game. Except Spurs. Away from home is my concern.
Yeah, me too.
But if I'm Unai Emery, I'm saying, boys, you're now playing for next season. Champions League is secure. We've got to go to a place like Crystal Palace and get a result.
Won't he throw in youngsters?
Well, wow, he's got a decent squad. I think Villa can go and get something. I know Palace are on fire. Everyone's jumping on that result. They beat Wolves and they beat Man United, who were disgraceful. But I think Villa can do something, yeah. I think Steve's trying to get on, but...
Steve?
You there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm
just
here.
a bit...
Do you need oxygen?
But yeah, I just think this could go anyway, Steve. I know what you're saying about Palace. They're in great form and at home the last game, but Villa are dangerous. They can score 2 or 3 in a heartbeat. Yeah. So this could go either way.
I think it will be an entertaining game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Anyway, one that should be an entertaining game is the Jurgen Klopp farewell. 1-6 Liverpool. How many goals do you think Liverpool will score in this game, Steve?
Well, I think they'll score a few. They'll want to finish on a high for Klopp. In the end, it's been, obviously apart from the Carabao, but a disappointing season for them. Yeah. But I think they'll finish and they'll score. I think they'll score 3 or 4, and they'll win comfortably.
Yeah, Liverpool to score 4 goals is like 14-10. So I think there's plenty of goals in this game. Wolves will have a go. They've been woeful of late. They've been terrible of late. I think they won 1-9. So Liverpool to win by a street. Luton Town, Fulham, Steve. Can yours boys end up on a high?
Yeah, I think they can. Although Luton, we know they've missed out now, but that will have everything at us. The last couple of times we played there in the Championship, we've drawn. There've been goals. Yeah. We 3-3 last time a couple of years ago. Look, we're capable of winning. I think Marco Silva has been a little bit disappointed with some of our performances recently. Yeah. I'd like to think that we could go there and get a result, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up a draw.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. That could go anyway. Man City, West Ham, one-way traffic.
Well, you'd think so, but West Ham are not going to. If people think that it's all over, I think that's a little bit of an insult to West Ham. But obviously, when you look at West Ham's results, particularly away from home in the last couple of months, it doesn't give Arsenal much hope. I think they'll try West Ham, but I think in the end, City. It depends if City don't score early, but they start to, the pressure and the crowd get a bit edgy, especially if they hear if Arsenal have taken the lead. But I think ultimately, they're quite a patient team, and they'll just wear West Ham down, and I'd be surprised if they don't score at least 3. Yeah,
I've got to agree. I think this has got 3-0 all over it. Get in front and then just take the game to the next step. West Ham won't want to get a pounding, so that's 2-3-0 all over it. And the last but not least, can Spurs, Paul, what do you think?
We've got to be Sheffield United. The betting tells you so. We only need a point to guarantee 5th.
Oh, okay.
We only need a point. So I think we'll beat them. Most teams would beat them. But if they really raise their game, I think we will come away with a point. We need it. And as I say, we've won one of 6 or something. Yeah. So I think it's not value, but we will win.
Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, look, Sheffield United are going to want to sort of go out on a bit of a high as much as they can. Yeah. It's been a terrible season for them. Conceded more goals than any other Premier League team since the Premier League started in '92. I can't see anything other than a Tottenham win unless they're sort of feeling sorry for themselves a bit after the other night. I'm sure he'll play his strongest available side again, and Tottenham will want to go out on a high. As you say, they need a point to make sure they don't get caught. But I can't see anything other than an away win really.
Yeah, Tottenham to win, both teams to score was 14-10. I thought that was short, but Tottenham to win and over 4.5 goals was 15-10. That's my suggestion there. I think there'll be plenty of goals. On to the playoff finals that are at Wembley. We've got 2 of them, League One and League Two.
League One and League Two.
Bolton Wanderers got on the train with all their supporters. What do you think?
I think they'll be too strong. I mean, they're favourites. They just missed out on automatic. Yeah. Oxford, they're not there just to make up the numbers, but I think for me, Bolton are favourites.
Yeah, when I was there, Bolton beat them 5-0.
So this will be on Saturday.
That's on Saturday, 4:15. 6:15. It'll be on ESPN.
I've got that.
And then Sunday, early kick-off before the league starts. Crawley Crew Alexander, the railwaymen, Paul, your team Crew.
Yeah.
Well, Crew pulled off a bit of a shot by beating Doncaster, who came in as red-hot favourites, had a great run. Crawley had an amazing win the other night, 5-1 at MK Dons. Yeah. I just have a feeling Crewe, on the back of that win at Doncaster, I just think Crewe might upset the odds and win that.
All right, Steve. As always, you're on a bit of a roll after last week. Both bets arrived. I think I know your value bet. Who's your best bet?
Well, my best bet, I'm going to go for Bolton. I think that they're going to be too strong. I can't decide on my value, but I was going to go for Crewe actually. Okay. But I might just, without putting the jinx on, I'm going to go for United to win at Brighton. Man
United, eh? Well, you didn't put a jinx on them a couple of weeks ago. Steve, I backed this team the last couple of weeks and got money out of them. Real Madrid are 9-10 to win. They've won the last game 4-0 and 5-0. What has happened is the goalkeeper's back, Courtois. And all the injured players miraculously have come right because the Champions League final is on the doorstep. And everyone is flying around like you cannot believe. Last week, they're over 9-10. They played Villarreal away, who've actually had a good run, and they do score goals. But 9-10 is my best bet. And Bologna is my value bet. It's 15-10, but that's a Monday night. So my English value bet, I'm going Aston Villa. I know everyone's talking, it's like 28-10. Yeah. I think he's going to have a full go. He's got nothing to lose.
On your money.
The players are going to have a go. They're dangerous. I'll catch that team on the break a few times. But the funny thing is, Steve...
Those two guys up front for Villa. I mean, for Palace.
I was on Betfair looking. The guy said, if ever you want to have a bet, back over, I think it was 7.5 goals in every game. He said, if one of them arrives, you're a major winner. And they were going through some of the results that have been over 7.5 goals, especially on the last day of the season.
Okay.
And 6.5 was as high, he said, because everyone has a go. Whether you lose the last game, no one really cares, bar one or two sides. Yeah. And the goal, I can't believe the price is over 3.5 goals is 5-10 on some of the games.
Just quickly going back from it, if Man City draw and Arsenal win, Arsenal is through. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But anyway,
right,
Steve. Thanks as always, and we'll obviously be discussing via WhatsApp on Sunday what's going on. But thanks as always.
All the best, Steve.
Yeah, take care, guys. Okay. Bye, Paul.
Bye-bye. Right, PSL Buds, Tuesday result, Paul, Royal AM Sundowns.
Paul, I watched the game. I had like 1,900 Rand to come for a couple of Rand. Mamelodi Sundowns to score 3 goals. They're 2-0 up. They got a penalty the last minute. Some Uruguayan I've never heard of. Nas Buerta couldn't put it that high, Paul. I nearly puked, and it was early on in the night. But they're going for a big-time record. I don't think there's been a team that's gone through the PSL unbeaten. Yeah, this is it.
Well, but let's look at the fixtures this week. You can get even money Cape Town City to beat Richards Bay.
Yeah, Paul, Richards Bay are struggling. They beat Pirates last week away. Yeah. So they're second bottom. They've got to get a result. But Cape Town City, they've only won one of the last few. Paul, 15-10 I saw yesterday, both teams to score. And they've got to go for Richards Bay, so that's my selection in that game.
Yeah, okay. Golden Arrows, they're in 10th. They play Cape Town
Spurs. Are gone, Paul. They're gone. So 13-10. I like Arrows. They're good to watch. They just concede too many goals. But in my opinion, if they score, I like 13-10, Paul. I think it's a good price.
Kaizer Chiefs, Pollock, Warney.
Well, I watched a bit of them against Amazulu last week. Jeez, the tackling. They were flying in. Chiefs have got a few boys in the middle, and so have Amazulu. Paul, you can't trust Chiefs. Was it 1 win in 9? So the draw's a player, but I don't see them losing to Polokwane. This is at FNB. Okay. So I don't see Chiefs losing.
Royal AM, Chipper United.
Paul, I watched them play against Sunderland. This game's at Harry Gwala in Maritzburg. Of the two teams, I like Royal AM, but if ever there's a 0-0 game, this could be it.
Okay. Sekhukhune, who finished 4th, on 4th.
Yeah, I like them, Paul. I think
that not a great year.
No, not a good team, Paul. They had a good cup run, but they got stuck out. But I like Sekhukhune of the two teams, but 18-10, the draw gives it away. Amazulu are well organised, Paul, but they don't score enough goals. So Sekhukhune in the draw for me. And 12-10, Sundowns, a big price, Paul.
One plays 2.
Yeah, Stellenbosch, they beat them in the cup. They beat them in the cup. Steve's team only lost 1 in 20, but that was last week. They lost away from home. Sometimes the season's finished. For this is a cup final for Steve. But
12-10.
I fancy 12-10, Paul, Sundowns.
Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, how about Supersport in 6th against Morocco Swallows?
All that won a 14-game Supersport. I can't believe what's gone on with Gavin. Swallows, they aren't the best of teams, Paul, but if I was having a bet, it would be 22-10 the draw.
Okay, and then TS Galaxy against
Paul,
Pirates.
you know, they're always good to watch TS Galaxy, but Paul, Pirates are in the same situation as Real Madrid. They've got a cup final coming up.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to get in the team. They've been playing well. They had a bad result last week. I expect them to rebound, Paul. I think Orlando Pirates 14-10. If you do want to have a bet, that's the right way to go.
All right, Budge, give me your thinking.
Yeah, Paul, we start with our score 6. And I'm banking Arsenal to beat Everton. I've gone the field in the Brentford versus Newcastle United game. Brighton win and draw at home against Man United. I don't see Chelsea. I've thrown the draw in at home against Bournemouth. I'm going the field in the Crystal Palace Aston Villa clash. And Liverpool should win against Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-1-6. On to our second soccer 6, which is a PSL 1 and plenty of draws in my way of thinking. I'm going Kaizer Chiefs win and draw at home against Polokwane, siding with Royal AM to avoid defeat at home against Chippa, as well as Sekhukhune United win and draw at home against AmaZulu. If I've got a chance at team, I'm going to chance Mamelodi Sundowns to win at Stellenbosch. Supersport win and draw at home against Swallows, and I've thrown the draw in TS Galaxy against Pirates, even though I fancy Pirates 192. On to our score 10 for the weekend. I'm banking Arsenal to beat Everton, the field in the Brentford versus Newcastle fixture. Brighton win and draw at home against Man United, as well as Chelsea win and draw at home against Bournemouth. The field in the Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa encounter. On to our second page, I'm banking Liverpool to beat Wolves, Tottenham to beat Sheffield United. Inter Milan have already won the league, and Lazio need a draw at least to get into Champions League Europa contention. So I've gone Inter Milan win and draw at home against Lazio. Barcelona should outclass Rayo Vallecano. And I've thrown the draw, and even though it is my best bet, because sometimes you'll rotate your squad, so I've thrown the draw in Real Madrid, and the draw at Villarreal, 288 Rand. On to the soccer 13. I'm banking Arsenal to beat Everton, Man City to beat West Ham, Liverpool to beat Wolves, Newcastle United win and draw at Brentford, Brighton win and draw at home against Man United, Chelsea win and draw at home against Bournemouth, and banking Tottenham to win at Sheffield United. On to our second page, I'm siding with Aston Villa to avoid defeat at Crystal Palace and Fulham to avoid defeat at Luton Town. Another away win and draw, Notts Forest at Burnley, banking Inter Milan to beat Lazio, Real Betis win and draw at home against Real Sociedad, and Lille to beat Nice at home, 256 Rand.
Right, the best bets.
Yeah, Paul, a little bit limited because the prices were woeful. So I've had to get a little bit clever. I'm going Liverpool to beat Wolves and Tottenham to beat Sheffield United, and over 4.5 total goals in each game. And then over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, 2,100 to 200. I think there's plenty of goals in the Premiership this weekend, so I'm chancing a few here. I'm going Bournemouth, Brentford and Burnley all to score over 1.5 goals, and Liverpool to score over 2.5 goals, 2,600 to 200. Got to do a PSL because there's no odds for the Spanish game, the league, should I say. I'm going Golden Arrows to beat Cape Town Spurs, Orlando Pirates to beat TS Galaxy, and both teams to score. Cape Town City and Richards Bay, 2,400 to 200. On to Italy, I'm going Atalanta to beat Lecce, Bologna to beat Juventus on Monday, and both teams to score. Sassuolo Cagliari and Torino AC Milan, 2,800 to 200. Had to find another league to have a bet on, so I'm going into Germany. I'm going Bayer Leverkusen to beat Augsburg, Stuttgart to beat Borussia Mönchengladbach, and over 3.5 total goals in each match. Wow. And Bayern Munich to win by more than 1 goal, the -1 handicap, 2,000 to 200. And our Collis Kings, 6 or nix. I'm going Arsenal to beat Everton, Liverpool to beat Wolves, Man City to beat West Ham, Real Madrid to beat Villarreal, Atalanta to beat Lecce, and Bologna to beat Juventus, 2,600 to 200.
I like those bets, Budge. Always, Budgie's best bet's always very good. Well, that's it. Great weekend,
Yeah,
great
Paul,
Sunday
let's
football.
hope it's entertainment. Paul. Let's
Entertaining
hope-
in South Africa, entertaining
Yeah, yeah.
in England, and a lot to look forward to. Till next time, stay on side.